wanted to give my thoughts on why the Punk McIntyre storyline feud is working so well in WWE, and it's one thing I don't think anybody has really talked about when they've gone into detail as to why it's one of the best things going in pro wrestling, sports, and entertainment right now. And it's mainly because of the fact that it's playing off of what CM Punk had done in AEW. Now I know that might sound a little far fetched to some people, but it's true. You know, you have you have Drew McIntyre coming out and saying he doesn't trust Punk or anything he says, and that he wants to prove that Punk is manipulating everybody, he's lying to everybody. Now I know some might say, well, he's playing off Punk's controversial career in wrestling in general, and that might be true. That might be true, but I think we can honestly say that without a shadow of a doubt, this is more based around Punk's recent run in AEW and what everybody had heard about him being involved in there. So it's no surprise to me, it's no shock to me that WWE would go down this path, because what they're doing is they're taking what was talked about and reported in AEW, and they're running with it in a way to where basically you have people like McIntyre, Rollins, and several others that they hear about what happened with Punk and All Elite Wrestling and those involved there, and they see him coming back, and it's mainly the fact that you know they don't trust Punk being here because they're afraid that he might pull, if not will pull, that same crap in WWE. And I think honestly, in my opinion, that is a brilliant direction to go in. It really is. It's a brilliant direction to go in because, what WWE, yes, in a way, WWE is taking a shot at AEW because AEW had the opportunity to do this. They had the opportunity to, run with this, but they didn't. So what WWE is doing is they're running with it. But again, what they're doing is they're taking everything that took place there, you know, everything reported, and they're applying it to their, to their company, and to their superstars, and they're basically putting that, that theme of distrust, between certain superstars and Punk, based on what he did there. And again, I think honestly, it's working very well because you're starting to see, how Punk being there is affecting everybody because, they don't think he can be trusted. They don't think he's truly changed, for the better. They don't believe it. So you see how it's affecting certain wrestlers like a Drew McIntyre, how it kind of affects a Seth Rollins and such. To them, it's like, hey, we can't trust what this guy is going to do or what he's going to say, in front of the camera, behind the scenes, because of what he did recently in that other place. We can't, afford to have him here. We don't want him here. And because he is there, injured or not, it's throwing them off their game because they don't know what he's going to do. They don't know how far his manipulation in their eyes flows. They don't know. They don't know how far deep it goes. How influential it can be, if not has been. And they hear, and again, it goes back to what happened in AEW, and of course ties into most of his other career, or should I say, throughout his career. It ties into that as well, but mostly it ties into what he did in All Elite Wrestling. And like I said, what they're doing is they're taking what AEW had a chance to work with and they're running with it, but they're applying it in a way to where, like I said, certain superstars like McIntyre, Rollins, and many others are unsure whether or not Punk is a man of his word, if he's really, truly changed for the better. Or if he's just the same old Punk that's just lying through his teeth, he's just manipulating, you know, He's just manipulating, people, the people in charge, the people that help bring him back. So, uh, so to me, building upon that, using that and building upon what was pretty much built, in AEW, and applying it to, their end of things is, to me, is being done very masterfully. And we see again, like I said, how it's affecting the likes of a Drew McIntyre. It's affecting him to the point that it's cost him a shot at being the world champion. You know, it's caused him to, throw the ruse out there that he was going to quit, but he didn't because he just wanted to have, an excuse to go attack Punk and everything. You know, he just doesn't trust the guy. He just doesn't trust the guy, and it's all based not just on what he had done previously in WWE and throughout his career, but mostly what he had done recently in AEW. I mean, it's kind of based in reality to where you hear about certain talents being signed to different teams in the NFL and Major League Baseball, NBA, and so on that have had controversial past or controversial moments throughout their careers. And when they get signed to these teams, you have certain players, if not certain staff, that are unsure about them being part of the team because they're not sure whether or not this person can fully be trusted, on the up and up. And it will cause some kind of dissent. It will cause certain people, certain players to be thrown off their game because they don't know. They don't know if this person can be trusted based on what they had done previously. Now, of course, the other thing they could put in there, and would be one of the more legitimate reasons, is it's McIntyre basically being afraid that he's going to lose opportunities to be the man now because, hey, here's CM Punk coming back, and CM Punk, obviously being a bigger star than him, is going to be the focal point of WWE going forward, especially when it comes to maybe the main events of WrestleMania and the World Championships and so on. So that also plays into that paranoia that basically what Punk did in AEW, by being skyrocketed to the top almost instantly, there is going to happen here. And he doesn't want that, which is why he takes, what he's, which is why he takes what, Punk did there. And, he's basically saying, hey, this guy's going to pull the same crap that he did there. He's going to cause trouble just like he did there. And, he's going to, trick you guys. He's going to manipulate you guys to push him to the top, just like he did to the guy that he used to work for over in that other company. So, yeah, you take all of that, you combine it, whip it together, and what you're getting is a masterful example of great storytelling and taking something that initially got started in another company, your competition, if you will, and you're bringing it over here along with the person that was part of that that's now over here. So that's why it works so well because they're taking all of that, not just all the other controversy that CM Punk was part of throughout his career, but mostly recently in AEW, and everything, and how he was pushed almost to the top, instantly there, and then all the controversial stuff that he dealt with behind the scenes. They're taking that and they're saying, hey, they don't want to take advantage of that. We'll apply it here, and we'll apply it in a way that makes it feel legitimate and real and blurs the lines of, what is, reality and what is not. And it's gonna, and obviously, again, it's gonna show you in the end how you can do this, and you could do it without any issue. Again, this was something that AEW had the opportunity to take advantage of, but they didn't. And now WWE is doing it by taking what happened there and applying it here to an extent of there's that distrust, there's that, paranoia and everything, by superstars towards Punk because they don't know if he'll be pushed ahead of them. They don't know if he's manipulating and lying. They don't know if he's going to pull the same kind of crap behind the scenes that he did there in AEW, here in WWE. It just works. It just works perfectly. It's just a great, masterful mixture here, and it's going to continue. We saw just another chapter being, we just saw the next chapter being written this past Friday, and then tonight here on Raw, and it's going to continue up to Money in the Bank. and that's going to build towards SummerSlam, which a lot of people are feeling is going to be pretty much, you know, possibly an unsanctioned match, which it has to be. It has to be an unsanctioned match, and I've got a feeling that match is going to be probably one of the more violent matches we have ever seen in recent WWE memory when it comes to Extreme Rules hardcore like matches. I would not be surprised if maybe we see some light tubes and all that get used to really emphasize how violent and brutal this match could be. And it will be bloody too, there's no doubt. But I just wanted to come on here and give you my thoughts onto why this Punk McIntyre thing is working, why it's why it's so well received, and it's all based on the fact that they're taking what CM Punk did in the past in AEW, and even a little before that when he was in WWE and throughout his career, but mostly recently in AEW, and they're applying it here with a lot of superstars, like right now, Drew McIntyre being paranoid, and paranoid at the fact that Punk will be pushed ahead of them, and also not trusting them because they don't know if he's manipulating and lying to people, and that and that either I'm trying to find the right word to say, and that whether or not he'll pull the same stuff that he did behind the scenes in AEW, behind the scenes there in WWE. So it just works. So it just works based on all that. But give me your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you feel about down below. Comment if you like. And I am out.